What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're going to take a look at Apocalypse. His kit was updated and the update is already live in game, and we're going to take a look at the kit and see if the updates are good enough to make Apocalypse relevant, if it fixes the problems that Apocalypse had in Arena. And then, of course, we are going to take a look at how to destroy Apocalypse day one, even with this reworked kit. Because yes, you can still destroy Apocalypse with this new reworked kit. Throughout my live stream, where we had like almost 200 people watching, I was doing the math once again and figuring out if it's still possible for Apocalypse to get destroyed easy mode. And the reality is that yes, his kit is still not impactful enough to actually stop the enemies. So this is a big deal that we need to take into consideration, and I'm gonna tell you how the developers can fix this. I was able to figure it out 2 months ago. I was the first guy who figured it out, how you're going to destroy Apocalypse. Then 1 week after, we had other people talking about that same topic, but I was the first, and once again I'm going to be the first telling you why Apocalypse sucks, how you can destroy him, and what can be done in order to fix it. Even if you fix him, I still think that he has some problems in his kit. So let's talk about all of that. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Apocalypse. Is Apocalypse now the boss? Is Apocalypse smashing that like button like a boss? I have no idea, but we're gonna take a look at his kit and see what was improved. So in terms of the basic, it still does pretty much the same thing. Offense up, speed up, and he also does this on assist and counter attack. Heal up for 5% plus 400% drain, and 400% damage plus 100% drain. It's still not piercing damage, and this is something to have in mind, because characters that do not have piercing damage, they age a lot faster than other characters. So unfortunately, this is still the case. When this character performs a counter attack or assist, if this character is charged, apply stun to that target, and then clear charge. So you are going to get 1 charge at the beginning of the match, and if you are facing Spider-Man 2099, he is going to attack Apocalypse with his ultimate, and Apocalypse is going to stun Spider-Man 2099. Now, this is completely pointless. It doesn't change anything because he already did the ultimate, so it's irrelevant. The attack is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. Okay, moving on. Special. The special is pretty much the same thing. Nothing was changed. It's exactly the same thing. And my biggest problems with this special is that the only negative effect that it applies is ability block. No slow, no ability block for 2 turns, no heal block, no anything like that, just ability block. And that's nice, but it's not that impactful. And then we have to check out, does Apocalypse still has problems with his focus? Can Apocalypse actually land this ability block? Those are questions that we'll have to answer, but the special is pretty much the same thing. Then we have the ultimate, and the ultimate is the same thing as well. And one of the biggest problems with the ultimate is that it flips defense up and 2 additional positive effects into negative effects. First off, it does not extend the negative effects. That's already a problem. And if the enemies do not have any negative effects or positive effects, you are not going to flip anything. So this trauma is completely meaningless. This trauma is completely meaningless. It clears the barrier, but let's be honest, right now there are only like 2 teams that, 2 or 3 teams that actually have a lot of barrier. So this barrier situation is pretty much meaningless. This is just future proof of this character. And after you use the ultimate, Apocalypse is going to become empowered. He's going to get 60% speed bar, and he's going to get 10% speed bar for each Horseman character. Unavoidable, cannot be blocked, cannot be counter-attacked. So the biggest problem of the Apocalypse ultimate is this part right here. It doesn't extend negative effects, it doesn't apply any kind of negative effects, it applies trauma. But if you are using, for example, Apocalypse with Rebirth, they don't have any negative effects to apply to the enemies, like Captain Carter and Captain America and so on. They have very few negative effects to apply to the enemies. So it's inconvenient because Apocalypse should at least apply heal block, and if he does not apply heal block, make him extend the negative effects. So this would be something like flip defense up, flip 2 positive effects, extend all negative effects, and then apply trauma. So this would allow you to still stick those negative effects for more turns on the enemies, but making sure that the trauma would not break the game. Because yes, if you'd extend everything including the trauma, that would be problematic. So overall, in my opinion, the ultimate is still garbage. This is a 10 energy ability, and it has to feel like a 10 energy ability, and in my opinion it doesn't feel like it. Other problem that we have is that when you use the ultimate, you are forced to use the empowered basic, and you might not want to use the empowered basic. So this is another problem. This will force you to have Apocalypse as a striker, because it will give more speed up, more offense up, and so on. And that's the only way you can save ourselves from being stuck behind the situation. Okay, taking a look at the empowered ability. The empowered ability was actually improved upon. So in the past it did 60% health of the enemies, and I made a big problem about this. Like, this 60% is not enough. If the enemies have, for example, 10 health, you are going to remove 6 health. You are not going to be able to finish a minion, and that's ridiculous. So I'm not sure if they watched my video or something like that, but they fixed that situation. So not only you are doing the 60% health, but you are also doing 400% base damage plus drain. So this one fixed the empowered ability of Apocalypse. Now this is a lot better, but you can see right here that the empowered ability also activates the stun, and you can manipulate this situation when the stun is applied by having characters like Absorbing Man, Red Guardian, and Drax, and so on. The characters that taunt on spawn, or characters that have early taunts as well. Okay, so the empowered basic is a lot better, big changes right there. And now we have the passive. The passive is where Apocalypse got a little bit more value, but once again, going back to the basic, we still have the same problems with Spider-Man 2099, and you're going to see in the matches. So this character cannot be revived. The speed of this character and each of the allies cannot be reduced except by slow. So once again, now Apocalypse not only stops the reduce of the speed from Emma Frost to Apocalypse, but also to all allies, whether they are horsemen or not. So this gives him additional flexibility and utility in different game modes. At the start of the match, enemy characters cannot spawn with Safeguard. On spawn, this character gains Safeguard, immunity, and Charged. So what this will make is that Spider-Man 2099 cannot flip the immunity on Apocalypse, and also cannot apply slow and defense down to Apocalypse, which is great. But because he gets the Charged, as I said before, he's going to stun Spider-Man 2099, but this is going to be after his ultimate, so that's pretty much meaningless. I mean, 2099 will be stunned, but on that specific match is like redundant. You are not adding anything new. So he's stunned, okay, you already did ultimate, so that's pointless. Of course, this is going to have other effects on different matches, especially like mirror match, or if you are using Apocalypse with any other team. So it's going to get more value outside of arena, but in arena it's pretty much meaningless. On stun, clear the stun, clear heal block, and then heal up for 20% of this character's max health. Lower the focus of the first enemy to take a turn by 200. So this is going to stop any character from applying negative effects on first turn. So whichever character goes first, whether it is Hawkeye or Yo-Yo or White Tiger or Spider-Man 2099 or any of those super fast characters, or any character that is faster than Apocalypse, then they will have their focus lowered. So even that Apocalypse has immunity, has Safeguard, and so on, this will stop those characters from also applying negative effects to your team. So this will protect the horsemen from having defense down, slow, and so on. So this is very, very useful. Once again, it's just for the first character to attack, which is fine, but I mean, they are making so many things to stop Spider-Man 2099. It's just the character is just so powerful with his abilities that they had to completely make a mechanic about Spider-Man 29 to be stopped. That's how unbelievable this character has been, because we needed a character that took 1 year to unlock to stop Spider-Man 2099. It's literally insane. Okay, so when this character drops below 50% health, for the first time, fill the speed bar of this character by 50% and also heal this character for 30%. So, because Apocalypse cannot be revived, this is a decent solution to heal him up, and because you are also getting additional turn bar, that means that Apocalypse is going to be able to use his empowered basic, or his ultimate, or his special, or the basic, normal basic, and so on. So that's going to increase his survivability, which is good. Apocalypse has a decent amount of health. He is the character with highest health in game. The armor is not the best. Resistance is still garbage. The resistance of Apocalypse is still very, very garbage. So there are still ways that we can exploit Apocalypse weaknesses. Okay, so once again, 50% max health, 40% counter chance, and now he gets additional counter chance per horseman. In the past it was villain and tech characters, so this was kind of a nerf. Maybe you cannot use like tech heroes, so you have to use villains or horsemen. So you can still use Kang, you can still use Dormammu, you can still use Doctor Doom together with Apocalypse, but now Red Hulk and Rogue are not going to be a liability, because in the past it didn't make even any sense. In the past, Rogue and Red Hulk were a liability, and you're more inclined to use other characters. Gain a 20% focus for each ally, so this means if you have any kind of summon ally like Hela with bots or Ultron with bots, Apocalypse is going to get more focus. Gain 100% accuracy in all game modes, and in Arena and Alliance Wars, all allies gain 100% accuracy. So this is going to help Morgan Le Fay, Red Hulk, Omega Red, Doctor Doom, Dormammu to apply their negative effects in Alliance Wars and in Arena. So this is going to stop the Spider Weavers with Dormammus in Alliance Wars defense. So once again, Apocalypse is going to be very, very useful. So the biggest problems that Apocalypse has right now, it's literally his ultimate and the special that are decent. They are decent, but they are not good enough. Ability block for 1 turn without slow, without any kind of turn rewind, anything like that, it's just not good enough. It's not impactful enough. And the ultimate, once again, applying trauma, but not being able to apply any kind of additional negative effects, it's not great. And because you are not extending those negative effects, and you could even remove trauma from the extension part, it's still not impactful enough, because once again, at the end of the day, this is a character that has a 10 energy cooldown on his ultimate. I understand that is to stop the empowered basic attack, but it doesn't justify it. It's still single target damage. At the end of the day, Apocalypse is going to do mostly single target damage because of his basic, and I'm going to be honest, like, Apocalypse single target damage is boring AF. So I really wish that they would allow you to get some kind of energy, or to make sure that the ultimate has a little bit more value out of him. Now, in terms of stats, Apocalypse now has more focus because of his passive, so depending on which characters you have together with him, he's going to get more focus. It's still recommended that you have him as a skirmisher if you have a baby Apocalypse. If you have the big Apocalypse, then it's not going to be a problem. And depending on which team you are facing, Striker could also be a good option, because it will allow your Apocalypse to get defense up with the counters. But once again, it really depends on if you have all kinds of villains and horsemen together with Apocalypse, because you need to maximize this counter-attack chance. So if you have full villain team or full horseman team with villains, you can use Apocalypse as a striker, because he's going to get offense up, and that will give him 50% more focus. If you do not have a full villain team, make sure that you use your Apocalypse as a skirmisher. So I think that's going to be the best isolate option, depending on the scenarios that we are facing. Okay, so now that we broke down Ali's kit, now that we broke down what is still failing and some parts that are not working properly, let's take a look at Apocalypse in action and how you can still destroy him right now, because it's still pretty easy. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here we are going to take a look at a clip from my live stream. Let's get started, let's take a look at this. So, in this clip we are going to take a look on how we can destroy Apocalypse in arena defense. And this is the team I usually use, but this is not the team that we are going to use. Maybe this team can work, maybe not, I don't think so. We are going to use the team that I theory crafted 2 months ago, before anyone else, that it was going to be the team that would always destroy Apocalypse. And we could also talk about how can we fix that. I'm going to say right away, what can fix that is whenever Apocalypse does his stun with his passive plus the basic, he should turn rewind the enemies by like 20% or something. If that would happen, then that would stop the Eternals from activating. It's a very simple fix and it would make Apocalypse very, very powerful in all game modes. It's not broken, but more powerful. And once again, it would definitely stop these situations with Eternals and Spider-Man 2099. So if any of the developers is watching, make sure that when Apocalypse does stun on the primary target that attacks first, he also turn rewinds the enemies by like 10% or 15% or 20%, so it stops all kinds of these scenarios. So let's take a look at this gameplay. So we have Kang, we have Spider Weaver, we have 2099, YIKES, and Cersei, and this is the team that I said like 2 months ago, first person. As soon as the strike time video dropped, we found out right away that it was going to be the case. I made all the calculations on stream, and indeed, even after the rework, it still happens. Okay, so we are facing Red Hulk, Morgan Le Fay, Rogue, Dormammu, and Apocalypse. So let's take a look at that. Apocalypse has the revive sign, but he actually does not revive. It's just a visual bug that hopefully they'll fix in the future. And I was thinking which character I should attack first, because we have most of the Horseman team. We have Morgan Le Fay, more HP, more resistance. We have Red Hulk for more focus. We have Rogue for more damage. So we are not playing around. So even that this is a baby Apocalypse, he's still quite big. So let's take a look at these characters in action and see exactly how it performs. So we have a 2099 going. So this is the moment where Apocalypse should turn rewind the enemies a little bit to stop the enemies Eternals from taking a turn. So Spider Weaver, she can still do her ultimate and she can still stun Morgan Le Fay. So as you can see, nothing was fixed. Nothing was fixed. You can still pretty much do the same thing. You cannot apply slow and defense down to the enemies, but you can still apply stun to Morgan Le Fay and make a game over on the enemies. So we are going to apply now slow to Rogue with Kang special. There you go, and Kang did massive amount of damage. Of course, that this is going to be better for the biggest Kang you have, the better. Maybe if you have a very small Kang, this is not going to be the case for you. But now YIKES is going to have a turn. Even that Apocalypse can apply ability block, YIKES can clear it away like, bro, your ability block doesn't matter. And that's why the special and the ultimate from Apocalypse still need some extra value. Some kind of turn rewind on the special, or something better on the ultimate. The ultimate is a second turn ability, so we need some kind of turn rewind on the special, otherwise it's not going to be super impactful. Okay, so as you can see, YIKES is still going. Yes, all the enemies have safeguard. Doesn't mean jack shit. It literally doesn't mean jack shit, because YIKES is still going to turn rewind all of them and do enough damage that will put the Horseman team at risk. This is a big Horseman team. This is not like 5 Yellow Stars Horseman team or anything like that. And now Kang with his ultimate, they have Dormammu, they have all those revives and so on. It doesn't mean anything either. So you're gonna see right here that Kang with his ultimate is going to shred through everyone. And now there is just Apocalypse. Apocalypse is the one that remains. He's not Kang, but he was the one who remained. But he's gonna get shredded anyway. So I just put on auto because like whatever. But it's pretty much game over. So if I used the Spider Weaver basic there, Apocalypse would be dead already. This is why I put on auto. Let's just see what happens. And then you have YIKES and Cersei still slapping that Apocalypse, and there you go. So even after the rework, the Apocalypse kit is just not impactful enough. It's just not impactful enough. Once again, we need some kind of turn rewind on the passive whenever he stuns enemy. and we also need the special to also do some kind of turn rewind to the character that you apply ability block. Otherwise, your team is going to be compromised. The Eternals will go first, and your Red Hulk, Morgan Le Fay, and so on, they are still going to be like looking at the sky waiting for rain to fall because they are not going to have any turn. Okay, so now let's take a look at the team that we destroyed. Let's take a look at them in action to see how Apocalypse plays on offense. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at Apocalypse on offense, and we are going to face the Spider-Weaver and Spider-Man 2099 on defense. Okay, so now we are reversing the roles. Can Apocalypse and the Horseman destroy Spider-Weaver and Spider-Man 2099? Obviously, of course, they will, because we don't have the Eternals on defense. So the fact that we don't have the Eternals on defense, it's not going to be as impactful, because if you are not able to stun Morgan Le Fay, and if you have them on defense, it's going to be RNG, you have 20% chance of that happening. So if that's going to be the case, then the Eternals on defense are not going to do anything. So you can see the Spider-Weaver, she tried to stun Dormammu. Dormammu still lost his positive effects, which is concerning, because supposedly Apocalypse reduces the focus of the enemies, and that was not the case. So the Apocalypse passive is still bugged because it's removing the focus by 200%, but it's not doing anything. Like if you reduce by 200%, it should be 0, right? But it's not the case. So Spider-Man 2099 can still remove the buffs of the team, and we can still get the trauma on our characters, which is a problem. Okay, anyway, let's use the ultimate of Morgan Le Fay. We can use the ultimate of Morgan Le Fay because now Apocalypse gives accuracy to all characters on arena, whether it is on offense or defense. So you're able to apply disrupt, ability block to all kinds of characters. And now we are going to apply ability block to Red Hulk, so it doesn't turn rewind to us. The special of Red Hulk, as you can see, it's not removing the revives properly. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. He's supposed to remove the revive of 3 characters. He only removed the revive of 1 character, which was Spider-Weaver. So probably there is some bug still with the interactions between Red Hulk and Apocalypse, because Red Hulk is still going slow AF. They might have fixed the passive of Apocalypse, but they still didn't fix the passive of Red Hulk. Okay, so with that in mind, let's turn rewind that Dormammu. Unnecessary, but we are just making fun of the enemies, because yes, indeed, this team on offense is quite powerful, but the same way that Eternals win this team also wins this, so it's pretty much meaningless. So I use the basic of Rogue to remove those positive effects from Dormammu. Unfortunately, it didn't got the effect that I wanted. My Rogue still doesn't have Dice Await Blue level 5. And now we have Spider-Weaver gone, we have the other guy gone. Red Hulk revived. Once again, he should not be revived, because we should have been able to remove his revive once. Dormammu just fly through the sky. I have no idea where Dormammu went. Maybe he went to make a snowman or something like that. It was crazy. And now we have Red Hulk by himself, and he's stunned. So we are going to use the big ultimate from Apocalypse. And that's it. The animation from Apocalypse is actually a little bit weird. The fact that he raises his right arm and then he slaps with the left arm, it doesn't make any sense. It's a big flaw from the art department, but okay, sure, why not? And there you go. So that's Apocalypse with the Horseman characters beating Spider-Weaver, Spider-Man 2099, and so on. Emma Frost, which is a very, very common team right now on arena defense, and it's pretty much game over for this team. Okay guys, so that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. As you guys can see, yes, now Apocalypse is part of the arena meta, but he's still destroyed by arena meta from 2 years ago. The Eternals are still making havoc throughout the arena, and in my opinion, like, it needs to end in terms of Eternals. And once again, I already give explanations on how you can fix that by applying some kind of turn rewind on the special, and also apply some kind of turn rewind to the entire enemy team whenever Apocalypse uses his stun, which is activated whenever the first enemy attacks him. So I hope that anyone of the developer team can see this and see how they can fix Apocalypse. Once again, Apocalypse has to be his own character, and Apocalypse needs to have value without the Horseman characters. If he's not Dormammu level on his own, it's still a failure of a character. He's decent, he's better. Is he already on the levels of Dormammu? Probably not, but with a few changes like I mentioned throughout this video, then we'll finally be able to get Apocalypse to the level he deserves, which is on the same place where we have Dormammu and Doctor Doom and the characters like that. Okay, that's gonna be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash that like button like a boss, and if you found the video helpful, entertaining, anything like that, make sure to share it with your alliance, with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.